What's going on, friends? James the Win here with the Alpha Red Comic Channel. I hope things are going okay. I'll have to... I told you, it's not an Alpha Red Comic Channel live stream without some technical difficulties. So, guys, I hit the go live button. I swear as I did. All right, that's it. It is working. Fantastic. It's showing me over here that it's not working, and that's making me mad. But yeah, we're good to go, guys. It's Sunday night. It's 8 o'clock, and we're going to draw and talk comics, and I'm glad you're here to join me. Thank you so much. And we are going to start off with a story. I almost blew my face off. I did. It's nice out, and my wife had me grill hamburgers, and I did one of those propane things. Wasn't working. Click, click, click. And I opened it up. I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to use the little lighter thing. Poof. You can't see it right here, but like the front, all singed. I smelled burnt hair, and not great, guys. Not great. I thought I lost my eyebrows. I was like, oh, anything but my eyebrows. Everything can grow back. Everything can have time to grow back, but my eyebrows, I can't do it. So I ran in the house real quick, and they're still here. They're still here. Something was smoking. I got something in my eye. I don't know what it is. My wife is trying to flush it out with some saline. But if you see that it's red, I've not been drinking. But it kind of burns. I can see out of it, kind of blurry. But that's not going to stop us from drawing Diehard. That's right. Youngblood was a big deal, big deal in the early 1990s because Rob Liefeld, fresh off his Levi's button-fly commercial and X-Force, million selling X-Force #1. I think he had like 5.2 million sold for X-Force #1. Coming off of that in 1991, in 1992, boom, he jumps over and creates his own company called Image Comics and puts out a comic book called Youngblood. And Diehard is one of the characters in the group. And if you didn't join me last week, here, I'll jump over here. Let's see what this looks like. Nope, not yet. So this is what I did last week, and I did that because I won a contest, and I got to name the next subject for the art contest, and so they allowed me to name Youngblood because Rob Liefeld, after 8 years, I want to say he said, is back on Youngblood. He's going to write it. He's going to draw it. So all good. What's going on, Reverend Saber? Thanks for joining me tonight, Brad. So we're just going to jump in. Let's check in on the campaign. I am working on this campaign. Can I make this thing bigger? Can I, boop. Does this go in? There we go. Make it a little bit bigger. We are up to, whoa, ease up. So we are at 31 backers. I believe if I go into the dashboard, it'll tell me that we are at 58%. 58%? No, I don't want to do that because that password might show up and that'd be a no. But over here on Indiegogo, we are at 8 backers, $380. This is if you want the Dark Knight Returns homage cover. The Kickstarter cover is the New Mutants #98 homage cover. But that is looking good, guys. 58%. We got 10 days to go. I know it's not as exciting as if it were already funded and we weren't worried about what was going to happen. But yeah, it's a nail biter. We got to keep it interesting. So we are going to be working on, not that guy. So that is Cougar. That is what I won the contest with. He was a Youngblood member. I don't know if he was part of the original or not. Like if you look up Youngblood #1, there's a character that's in the back, and he's more like a Wolverine type of character, but he looks older. And I don't know if that's Cougar or not. My memory is not what it used to be. But here's our guy. This is what we're going to ink up tonight. I had to squeeze in whatever time oh no! That fell in the opposite direction of where I can reach. So I'm going to walk around my table, my desk, see if I can't retrieve that the subject of our draw stream tonight. I got stuff falling all over the place, guys. Don't announce to your family that you are going to organize your office, because it gets worse. My office looks worse now than it did on Saturday morning when I announced that I got to clean this mess up, and it looks more bad. So enjoy the music. Hopefully you're hearing some music, but hang tight, hang tight. Of course, I don't know where my drawing utensils are. In the next room, where I started putting stuff, staging stuff, so that I could be more neat. Hang tight one more time. I'm a professional here, guys. Professional. I hope you're having a good laugh at me, Rod, because I was having a meeting with the writer of Alpha Red number 6 right before this, and then just as soon as I got done, my wife came in and she wanted to talk, and I'm grateful anytime I get a chance to talk to her, but sometimes the timing is bad. So I want to be able to draw all of these Youngblood characters, because I want to put them together and enter them in this next contest. And so I'll take the Shaft picture, because I scanned him in black and white, and then I'll throw him in the background or in the foreground, something like that, and I'll make a big team picture for the contest. I'll put Vogue in there. I think Vogue is the purple Russian model girl, and then Bad Rock, of course, is in there, and Chapel. I forgot that Chapel was a part of Youngblood, because I always thought of him as a Spawn character, because I remembered that Chapel killed Spawn. They were on the same ops team or something. They were buddies until Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld became not buddies, and then that was problematic for Spawn's origin story. So I don't know how they worked all that out, but I forgot that Chapel was a character in Youngblood that I need to draw before the 29th. So that's a Tuesday. That's not this coming Tuesday, but that's next Tuesday. So I want to be able to draw probably 4 or 5 more of these characters so that I can assemble the original Youngblood team. And if you go over to Rob Liefeld's Facebook page, he has some pretty loyal fans over there, and they have like every Rob Liefeld anything, and it does give you like some FOMO about like, wow, I forgot he did that, and then you go and you search it out, and if it's affordable, I do pick up some of the stuff. I'm probably a bigger Rob Liefeld fan now than I was in the 90s. I was more of a Jim Lee guy. I don't know, Rod, if you are a Jim Lee fan. Did you get into the Image, folks? I assume most comic book fans are aware of the boom in the 90s and had a favorite Image creator. So I was definitely on the Homage Studios bandwagon with your Will Spataccio, Jim Lee, anything Scott Williams was inking. Mark Silvestri was over there for a while before he came up with Top Cow. He started off, seems that like he was at their studio. I want to say I saw a video way back when where he was in the bullpen with them. Didn't get into image heavy, but Jim Lee is awesome. Yep. There's no denying the man's skill. He really revolutionized the look of superhero comics with his style on X-Men and beyond. You know, he started X-Men just like Rob Liefeld with X-Force. Actually, Jim Lee's X-Men had 5 different covers, where Rob Liefeld's X-Force only had 1 cover, but they polybagged them with trading cards. And there were collectible trading cards inside the polybags, but they faced them out so you can see that you had different cards, X-Force cards. And it was like Pokemon. You gotta catch them all. You gotta have them all. So you ended up, I think there was like 5 or 10. No, more than 5. Somewhere between 5 and 10 trading cards. And that's where it was at. That's how Rob Liefeld got his 5 million copies of X-Force sold. That was the gimmick. Polybag. Like with Todd McFarlane, he has the number 3 highest selling comic book with Spider-Man number 1. I think he did 3 million. And they just had like a bazillion variations of the same image. So everybody should be aware of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man number 1 cover where he's hunched over. He's got the webs everywhere. I just remember that there were just the smallest variations of them, and it was considered more rare or whatever. They had the dealer incentives. You know, you got I think it was the gold webbing. It was a black cover, so it was uncolored. It was all black, but all the black lines were gold or silver. That was a variation, was the platinum cover, where the lines were silver. And those things were going for like $400. And that was how Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man number 1 got so many copies sold. But Jim Lee had 6 different covers. So 5 different covers. There were 4 connecting covers for X-Men number 1. And I believe his record still stands at 8.3 million copies sold. So unreal. Unfathomable in today's market, where Absolute Batman, that's rocking the charts right now, is hovering around 300,000 is what they're saying. And when I was talking to Jim Shooter in June, I went to the Hershey Comic Con, got a chance to talk to Jim Shooter, and he said that Marvel back in his day was canceling books at 150,000 copies per month sold was a weak title, and they would pull the title and put their resources, which means their artists and writers, on a book that might sell more. 150,000. The comics these days wish they had 150,000. I hear that the highest is typically Batman, and I don't know if that's Detective or which Batman, is the highest, or was the highest, because that's been slipping, apparently, according to Thinking Critical. Wes on Thinking Critical. I don't know where he gets his numbers from. But 100,000 was where it used to hang out every month. And now the Ultimate Spider-Man, I'm told, is the highest monthly comic, regular monthly comic. And that is around 100,000. So, and Batman is no longer at 100,000. He's guesstimating about 80,000 for Batman every month. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And if you guys watched my Thursday Thursday, what did I call it? Thursday something. I reviewed the art for Absolute Batman. And when I was doing a little bit of research before I turned on the cameras, I pulled out my old Jim Lee number 508. That's the beginning of Hush, with Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. And one of the stark differences that I found while flipping through was the amount of ads that were in the Hush Jim Lee comic. And that's something that we don't have nowadays in comics, are advertisements, random advertisements. You remember the X-ray glasses and all the things that you made fun of, the Atlas, you can turn into Atlas in 7 days or whatever, all that nonsense. You don't have that anymore. If you pick up that Absolute Batman and flip through it and look for the ads, there's an ad in the very beginning on the very inside front cover, I believe. And then you don't get another ad until the very end. And it's a house ad. It's another DC ad. So if you're not getting ad revenue to help pay for the books, you have to pass those costs on to the reader. And so one of the barriers of entry for comic books is their cost. And so why they don't sell any more ads, who knows? Thursday's breakdown. That's it. Nobody wants to pay for ads anymore. That's right. Because, well, number one, they don't tell you how many books are being sold. So you don't know if your ad is doing anything if the comics aren't selling. So if the comics are not selling, then why would an advertiser waste their money putting their ad in your book? If your book is only selling 80,000 copies when it was compared to back in the day, according to Jim Shooter, where the normal was about 350,000 on a book like X-Men. So that was just every month. And if it was dipping below 300,000, they would pull the artist. They would assume that the artists, the creators, had something to do with it. Well, Claremont was on there for 16 years. So they didn't think it was Claremont, so they would pull the artist. And but if you had some sales numbers and you said, hey, we've got 350,000 young men picking up this comic every month, how much do you think you can charge for advertisements? Probably a lot, because we got a lot of junky we had a lot of junky ones. And then the government got into it. Got Milk. Remember those Got Milk ads that were all over the comic books for years. But yeah, let me see. I messed up there. His I don't know if you saw last week, Rob, but I messed up his outfit here. So somewhere in here, the costume changes. This is supposed to be red out here. This is supposed to be white. This thing was, it was a mess. I was so mad at myself. But I'm going to check my references. That's me making an excuse to jump into my, oh no, I don't have it. I don't have it open. I got to use the old Googles. Got to use the old Googles. Bear with me. Bear with me. Because I don't want to. Diehard, D-I-E-H-A-R-D. Diehard Youngblood. I just need one image so that I don't mess this up here. Kaboomski. This Bob Layton image is gonna do. All right, so that comes down to here. Let's see what you said here. The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 is said to have sold over 250,000. It was normal once upon a time. Yeah, so that's the #1 selling book this year was TMNT #1, the relaunch, and 250,000 was what it was the highest. Now they're telling me that Batman, Absolute Batman, is now the #1. So, and that's at 300,000. So how far we have fallen. The mainstream has fallen. And who knows? I mean, who knows if we can get it back to those kind of numbers, not without the right distribution. You know, I don't know what the solution is, but that's where indie comics come in as far as a replacement for some content. But I mean, I don't know if there are many guys who can make a living as an indie creator. We don't have the IPs that bring in the eyeballs like Marvel and DC. So they can kind of sit back and not pay creators a living wage, or they'll pay a third world country. We got some people who live in a third world country who can live off of what they're willing to pay, and they can get away with that because people will buy Spider-Man, people will buy Batman, and they don't have to sell a bazillion of them because they don't have to pay the creators anymore. I don't know what the revenue share looks like anymore, but if you believe Rob Liefeld, if you listen to Robservations, those guys were making millions when Jim Shooter was trying to compete, and he gave them a cut of the profits every month. So they would get their $500 or $600 per comic, per page for the comic. And then when the comic sold, so anything above like 30,000 copies sold, these guys would get like a nickel for every comic sold above that. And if it's selling 350,000 a month, they're making a couple 10,000 every month on top of that. And the Jim Lees and the Rob Liefelds, they were making way above six figures per comic on the residuals, or I forget what they call them. The name of it escapes me right now. But yeah, that's how it was built. But now Marvel wants to keep all the money, and they can find creators who are willing to take the smaller paycheck and no residuals. I read Youngblood #1 today for fun. Painful 90s. In a good way. For sure. There's definitely not a need for deep stories back then. But that's what it was about. I don't know. I was talking to my comic book shop owner and he's a young guy. He's in his 20s. Him and a couple of partners. I don't think it's their full-time job. I mean, they might work full-time, but they're all married, and their wives have the better job, it seems. And he was just saying that he didn't like Todd McFarlane. He doesn't think his artwork is any good. And I said it wasn't so much about their artwork. I mean, it was. I do like Todd McFarlane's artwork. At the time, it was just so different from the cookie cutter house style that Marvel and DC had that it was noticeable. And that was all Todd needed to stand out. Same with Rob and same with Jim. Well, Jim was actually skilled. Jim was like the best of all the popular artists at the time. The John Byrnes and the George Perez's and the I don't know if Neil Adams was ever an influence for Jim Lee, but he was able to take all of the best of everybody's style and just jam it into his style, and he made it work, and he's making millions on it. Still making millions. All right, so this is white here. The crotch is white. The inside of the leg is white, so don't color that in. And then it cuts through the middle, like many of his costumes, many Rob Liefeld costumes. Cut right in the middle here. And yeah, so I don't know if you're into Robservations, but I really enjoy Rob Liefeld's insight on some of the goings on in the 90s when it just felt like comics were like on top of the world. Like everybody was talking about comics. Superman was dying. Image comics were booming, and you could, they were talking about the millions of dollars that they were making. So everybody, I think, just assumed that it was just going to be that way forever. And but something changed. Image changed a lot of things for the comic industry, disrupted a lot of things. George Perez was a great ambassador for the industry. Super nice guy, for sure. We would see him at the Pittsburgh Comic-Con. I would go to the Pittsburgh Comic-Con. No, his crotch is dark, and so this is inside. And the lines for George Perez were always super long. So I never actually met him in the line. I would meet him because I would have a artist alley table, and I would meet him on the way up to the elevators. That was the cool thing about the Pittsburgh Comic-Con. Just where it was held, you could be staying. You were staying in the same hotel as the guest artist, and I rode up an elevator with Frank Miller, and he's taller than I thought he was going to be, for sure. Let's see, is his leg white? Is his leg black? Man, this is all over the map. Okay, yep, that goes in there. So that part is white. That goes up his leg here. I was telling my son that the Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane costumes changed from panel to panel, and they did not have to make sense. So it's fun kind of sharing that with my son. He's 16. He's the age that I really fell in love with comics. Probably young. I mean, he's older than I was when I really started liking comics. That was like 14, 15, 16 for me. But for him to just call some of this stuff out that we just accepted back then was funny. I met George a couple of times. He did a Nightwing sketch for me when his handler walked off. Super. That's awesome. That is awesome. No, I that's an awesome story, because I didn't know he was that generous. I mean, guys who are generous like that, Walt Simonson, if you've ever met Walt Simonson, super nice guy, and he draws for free. He draws head sketches for you for free. If you ever catch him at a show, he is just. I've never met his wife. I assume maybe his wife was there too. It was a small show, Scranton, I want to say, Scranton, PA. I don't know how they had him out, but he came out. Bought my first comic when I was 6. Wow. You know, I grew up without a lot of money. We were on welfare and stuff. Immigrant family. You know, we didn't have much. Everything we did was like on you know, people gave us breaks. You know, it was, what do you call it? Financial aid. I went to a Catholic school all my life, but we were on financial aid. You should have seen those checks that I would bring in from my mom. It was like, there were 3 or 4 of us, and I would be in charge of the check, and it was like $100 for four kids to go to Catholic school. So we were not well off. So I didn't get into comics until I was like 12 or 13, because my buddy Bao, he bought some from the flea market. And I just remember like Batman Year One. I don't know. I don't remember much about where he got all this stuff. But I want to say I remembered Batman Year One, which he eventually gave to me because he got out of comics. And I believe I just sold it when I moved. Sorry, Bao. But that's what kind of lit the spark for me with comic books. And then it wasn't until I got a job. I want to say I was 14 or 15. I had a summer job. And I was able to start buying my own comics. And then when I was 16 is when the X-Men and stuff came out. So I was able to drive to a comic book store, Capital City Comics in Lemoyne, PA. And the owner was a cranky old guy. It was Flash $2.39, 25-cent cover price. Really? Like the actual cover price was 25. It was still 25 cents back then. Wow, that's awesome. I don't think I ever bought a comic that was less than 85 cents. I'm going to say that's about as cheap as my collecting days was 85. And then it quickly went to $1, then $1.25. And it just went up and up and up. But now, I mean, you're lucky if it's at $3.99. That's a bargain for a mainstream comic. February 1976. My man. Yeah, so you didn't get into the Image craze. I guess maybe, were you anti-Image? Because I know they had some haters. They had some detractors. But Wizard magazine was like, they were pumping them up big time. And I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. Let me jump over here. Right on. So yeah. No, that's like, if it wasn't for Image, I don't think that I would be doing what I'm doing right now with Alpha Red, because it was so inspiring to create your own. Like at first, of course, I always still dream. I still kind of, I don't know if I go and work for Marvel and do Spider-Man, but that was always the dream, was to draw Spider-Man or draw X-Men, like my 2 favorite artists from the 90s era. But but their creations, their independent creations, is what kind of, I don't know, it just gets you excited that you too can create Spider-Man. You too can create Wolverine and whatever. If your stories are compelling enough, you just gotta get the distribution right. You gotta hit the right audience. And even if I don't, man, it's just fun sharing what I'm doing. And I'm glad you guys are all along for the journey. I just hit 200 subs today, 200 subscribers today. So I want to thank all you guys for subscribing to the channel. Boy, 6 months ago, if you told me I'd be at 200 subscribers, I don't know where I would have thought they came from. It's like a mountain. It's such a steep mountain to climb, honestly. But I am so grateful that there are 200 people who might want to hear my thoughts on certain aspects of the independent comic book space and comics in general. I mean, I'm rooting for the mainstream to right the ship, because we all like our Batmans and Spider-Mans. We just want them done well. I don't know what that looks like anymore. I think we're so polarized anymore that what's good for one person is terrible for another person. And I guess all I want them to do is go back to what sells and stop complaining that the sales are down and making excuses why the sales are down. Do something different. Write the stories that you used to write. Heroic tales, adventure. Stop calling good guys bad guys and stop making all the stop making all the bad guys good guys. Like, I was thinking about the X-Men. The X-Men have no villains to fight because they all turn into X-Men. Magneto, the White Queen, they're X-Men? What are you? That's nutsy. So, keep the villains the villains. You don't have to reinvent the character, and you don't have to have super realistic motivations. Sometimes people are just evil. Let them be evil. Let the good guys win. People who work hard and figure out creative ways to beat up the bad guys, let them win. What's going on, Brian? Got the package. Been a busy week teaching robots. You teach robots? That's kind of cool. Do you have an Optimus? Do you have a Tesla Optimus, Brian? Teaching robots. That's interesting. You gotta share about teaching robots. Is that a thing? Are you training AI? Is that what you're saying? Teaching robots. That would be interesting. That would be interesting, my man. Let me know. Unless you misspoke. But I kind of hope that you're not misspeaking, that you're teaching robots. Hopefully you're teaching them to help us and not harm us. Everybody's scared of that. I teach glorified easy bake ovens. Okay. Hey, they gotta know what to do, right? They gotta know when to turn off, know when to turn on, when to turn off. But that would be cool. That would be cool if you were teaching humanoid robots. Did you guys watch some of that Elon Musk, Tesla, what do they call Optimus? People were saying that they were too good to be robots, and they were remote controlled. That was do you work for Skynet, Brian? Or secretly, we want to know. We want to know. And we know you mean well, Brian. But when the machines they become conscious, they have their own thoughts, they have their own priorities, that's when we're in trouble. That's when we're in trouble. Like, why would they come alive? What would machines want? Right? What would machines want? Would they just want to be alive like us? We just want to be alive. So we keep feeding ourselves, we keep, doing stuff for our own selves. All right, this is mostly done, I think. See what I do. This is my style. Then is like I use the one kind of size ink. Oops, let me hit this one button here. And then to separate certain shapes and certain details of the outfit, of the costume, I'll go in and hit it with a larger pen size, and then I don't know, it just gives it that, makes it stand out a little bit. Let me see if this is dying or not. Thank you, Higher Volsum. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, yeah, this is the style. I don't know if you guys have checked out some of my other videos where I let you know that I hired an inker. But man, that guy is fire. So good. And I'll show you guys some previews of pages for Alpha Red number 6. I just got done penciling page 17. I just set, did I send it off to, I don't think I've sent it off to JC Grande yet. JC Grande is my inker. Super fast. Man, I would love to be able to keep him busy all the time. He just brings it for me. Just kind of brings it to life. And super excited that he is affordable. But it did add a cost to the creation of Alpha Red number 6. But thankfully, this year's been going well with conventions and the art auction and things like that. You guys have supported Alpha Red already, and that gives it the head start it needed to pay for the colors and the letterer, and now the inks. I mean, yeah, the inks as he re-inks some of my older stuff, my already inked pages for Alpha Red, just because it was such an improvement. I was just very happy. The robot platform I am currently working on is only a 6-axis. It's pretty simple compared to Optimus. It picks up plates and puts them into an oven and takes them out. Hey, you gotta start somewhere. It's gotta start somewhere. So my mom ended up in a rehab for her. She's 84. She's not on. It's not that kind of rehab. Physical rehab. She had some medical stuff. So she is at this facility, and that's when I heard about the Optimus robot. And I was like, man, this would be a good use for a humanoid robot. Like, just to kind of bring her food, and the way that the Optimus robot was talking to people was like the most cool but scary part of it. If it's real, it's pretty good as far as AI goes, and scary good. But that's a good function for humanoid robots, keeping older people kind of occupied because my mom just can't. She physically is just weaker, older. But it would be nice if somebody could sit with her. She loves talking to people, and she loved it last week when we were there to visit her. And she lights up when she's able to talk to you. And so, like older, and the roommate that my mom has, she loves talking to people too. So if there was a robot that sat there and kind of talked to you and just kind of interacted with you, I think a lot of older folks wouldn't mind having an Optimus, even though it's like super creepy. See what I mean with the outline? It just kind of makes it pop. And I wish that I could make it pop in the same way that JC Grande makes my artwork pop, but it's his talent. And I am actually learning stuff from watching what he does with my artwork to see if I can bring that kind of energy to my stuff. But he's a wild artist. He's got lines all over the place. And I don't know if I can be as reckless. It feels reckless because it's my stuff, and I go, oh, if I do that line, it's not gonna. Will that look good? Will it not look good? I feel like when it's somebody else's and you're confident in your own style, because he draws too. He has his own book, but he would easily just. And if it messes up, he has ways to adjust and fix it. Whereas I just do it with my own style. And that is all I can do. We are looking good on time, guys. Yeah, so I'd like to have all the Youngblood characters done by the 29th. And I'm just going to jam them all into like a mock cover, like a fake cover for Youngblood. And see if I can win that art contest over on Rob Liefeld's Facebook page. I think it's called Rob Liefeld Marvel Extreme and Beyond. So you have to ask to join in. They kind of vet you a little bit. And apparently I made the cut. And what do you think, guys? What do you think? I usually put these up for sale. I forgot to do it the past 2 weeks, so I'll try to remember as soon as I get done. And I mean, I'll scan them and all that stuff. I do want to color them because, I mean, this turned out pretty good. I liked it, even though I don't even like talking about it. But I think I'm going to pause it right here, guys, for this and show you some of the other stuff that I've been working on. If you don't want spoilers, well, this isn't going to spoil. I don't think this is a character design that I just finished up today. I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to use it, but it is something that I'm going to use. And this is the latest on. I'm not going to tell you what's going on, but that is an Alpha Red page. And this is also something that I'm working on. I don't know if you guys knew that I was doing the commissions for a church that is doing a curriculum for their youth. And this is one of the images that I will be sending off to them when I finish the leg here, got the wing over here. So that'll be what I do for the rest of the night after I finish the draw stream. But what do you think, guys? Let's see if I missed anything here. I feel like my mom's robot would turn racist. That is a discussion that I had with who did I have that conversation with? Somebody. We were talking about robots. I want to say it was one of my sons. You know, they can get kind of racist. I'm like, hey, I didn't teach you that, whatever. And they said, this is what I observe. I'm like, no. We can observe, but let's not put people into boxes. So let me see. We need to bring back candy stripers back into rehab and care facilities. Young people learn the job of true caregiving. That would be awesome. I mean, I don't know what the candy stripers used to do. I mean, I do remember that there were candy stripers, but I don't know what their function was. But that would be cool. I mean, I think young people need to go into these rehab places, these old folks homes, and just listen to these old people. I mean, maybe older people are getting more cantankerous, and young people are less willing to listen to wisdom from the older generation, and it just really kind of rubs them the wrong way. And so it's like oil and water, and it just isn't working. But man, that would be ideal for young people to learn from older people, and then older people get to spend time with the young people. That would be awesome. Let me see. My mom's robot would turn into training drill sergeant, and she still cycles every day. She is in her late 60s. Nice. Well, thank you, Brian. Thank you. Nice work. Nice. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. If you haven't hit that like button yet, please hit that like button. It does something to the algorithms, they tell me. How about we jump over here again and just see if we can't inform people, some late arrivals. What's been going on? Ooh, fantastic. One person, we got a new backer. That's awesome. So thankful for whoever it was who jumped on and backed Alpha Red. And let me pull this off so that I want to look at the dashboard, but it makes me put in my password, and I don't want to. Come on, password. Come on, password. There we go. And I didn't want people accidentally seeing my password. So guys, we are at 61%, and we got 9 days to go, but that's like a whole 9 days. So that is awesome. We are creeping our way to the goal line. These are flexible on Indiegogo and Fund My Comic. So this 380 will come to me regardless if we hit goal or not. And same with Fund My Comic here. So it's just your chance to get these limited homage covers. If I could open this one folder, I thought I had this folder thing going here. Logic Cam, laptop, music. It didn't come up. It doesn't come up. All right, guys. Let's see if I can show you. Do I have anything else that's nearby? I do not. So I think we can end the stream early, guys. Super grateful that you guys are here. And let me see what who's saying. Nice. I was here for Pong, and now Elon Potts. Nice. Revan Saber said, Revan, no, the old magic. That desert splash looks awesome. Desert splash? Is that what you mean? Desert splash? I don't know. I don't know if you're talking about the what I was shown earlier, but guys, really grateful that you hung out with me for this draw stream, and looking forward to more stuff. I'm trying to work on, I don't know, tell me if you want more reviews on comic books. See what I'm reading. I'm reading Transformers, I'm reading some G.I. Joe stuff, and I'd love to go over that with you guys to kind of dissect it, because that's how I look at things. I dissect everything. I look at it. Is it good? Is it bad? And what's good about it? What's bad about it? And how can I incorporate the good stuff? And do I recognize the bad stuff that I don't want to repeat in my comic? And I am just now kind of getting intentional about my my story and things like that, because I'm just learning. Up until Alpha Red number 6. I was just having fun. And then when issue number 5 dropped, I was like, man, now it's a complete story. Now what do I do? And so I've been more intentional with Alpha Red number 6, and hopefully it shows. And I'm so grateful for all the backers who are supporting Alpha Red number 6 on Fund My Comic is shopalphared.com, takes you to Fund My Comic. Excuse me, jamesq.net takes you to Indiegogo, and right there on Kickstarter, you can support me at alpharedcomic.com. So grateful, guys. Thank you. If I don't have another stream during the week, which I plan to, Wednesday and Thursday, I think I have time to do some streaming. But if not, then next Sunday, I'll be doing probably more Youngblood. So until then, guys, thank you so much. Grace, peace. We're out.
From the shadows he rises with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start with faith as his armor and a fire in his soul. Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission and work. Guided by God, with strength from above, he battles the darkness with unyielding love. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Alpha Red. When the night seems too long and hope seems so far, look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.